The day is almost here. In just 24 hours, the doors to Mogu'Shan Vaults, they're gonna swing open. You've hit level 90, you've run your dungeons, but a little voice in your head is probably asking, am I really ready? Don't worry though, I've got you. Forget the stress, forget the FOMO. Today we're going through the ultimate last-minute raid-ready checklist, and we're gonna make sure you walk into that raid with total confidence, ready to top the meters and grab that sweet, sweet loot. Let's get you prepared. First up, let's talk logistics. This week you've got a big choice, 10-man or 25-man. You can only do one size per week, and my group, we're going to be diving into 25-man, because first, you get more loot on average, and second, I'm running a GDKP, and most of those are 25-man. Still, if you've got a solid group of 10 friends, this is a fantastic way to enjoy the raid. Many of the fights are actually easier on 10-man, especially because you get to be more spread out on fights like Fang and Stoneguard. Though the real answer is just play what's actually fun for your group. The next thing you need to know in MoP is that you can actually change between normal and heroic difficulty on a boss-by-boss basis, with the one exception being the final Emperor boss. This is really huge for loot progression. See, the bosses in Mogu'Shan Vaults, they have very wildly different raid difficulties. The first and fifth bosses in Stoneguard and Elegon, they are notoriously very difficult, while other fights like Spirit King, Fang, they are much more forgiving. My advice is to go in with a plan to try some heroics, but don't be afraid to quickly swap to normal on a tough boss, to keep your momentum, to keep your spirits high. After all, progress is progress. So building your raid comp is also key for success. You're gonna see a lot of people saying stack hunters, stack warriors, but the real secret to a smooth raid, it isn't stacking the OP classes, well it is a little bit, but it's really making sure you have all those major raid buffs. More buffs mean more damage for everybody. That's how you go from 50k DPS in a normal dungeon to 150k in a raid. So how do you actually track your raid buffs and make sure you have the perfect comp without having a PhD in theory crafting? My secret weapon is wowraidcomp.com. You plug in your raid roster, it instantly tells you which buffs you're missing, like the 5% spell haste or the 10% melee attack power. Then you can plug in your raid comp into an assignment sheet, like the one from Jordy below the video. That way everybody's on the same page. It's really the easiest and simplest way to build a powerful, balanced team. Alright, so forget about everybody else. Now let's talk about your character. First, gear. Let me be clear, you do not need full pre-raid bis in order to clear this raid on normal. If you're in full heroic dungeon gear, you have more than enough, you're good to go. If you want that edge though, Conquest gear, it's available right now, and many of those pieces are straight up upgrades. You can queue rated battlegrounds, or my preferred choice, arenas of any size. Even if you lose every single game, you'll still have full Conquest cap for 2 or 3 upgrades in no time. I got 2 483 item level bis upgrades in less than 1 hour with Simonized, and we had so much fun even though we had 0 PvP gear between us. These upgrades are a huge edge for damage in your raid, so don't miss them. Next we have the enchants. Are they worth the gold? Well, some of them are definitely not worth the gold. In the case of the upcoming Dancing Steel weapon enchant, probably not worth the cost. That's because you can literally get the second bis wind song for just 300 gold. Same for legs, my bis is 5k, but the brutal leg enchant, it's like 20 gold, which is insane value. So many of the accessory chants as well, like glorious stats, they're under 100 gold on my server. TLDR is buy everything that's cheap and buy the second best alternative when things are expensive. Finally, we've got gems and reforging as well. This is where people get pretty confused, but it is very simple. Your goal is just to hit your stat caps. For most melee, that is 7.5% hit, 7.5% expertise. For casters, 15% hit. Can be different though, so check your Wowhead guide for your specs priority. As for reforging, the WoW Sim site, it actually can import your gear and suggest the optimal reforges. Reforge Lite Classic as well, you can load up different templates, one click, and it optimizes your reforges pretty much perfectly. So are you ready to take your game to the next level? Well, first you gotta get your professions to 550 before the raid. In my case, engineering, synapse springs, they provide a huge damage cooldown. I can just put that in a macro with everything else. I don't even have to think about it. 3,000 extra DPS. The good news as well is that MoP leveling for professions, it's incredibly easy. There's an auction house literally next to the engineering and blacksmithing trainers. As for blacksmithing, it gives me 2 extra gem sockets, tons of extra stats. Whatever your profession is though, those max level bonuses, they are well worth the effort, so get your professions on. Next, we've got to talk about those bonus rolls. go get your 3 Elder Charms of Good Fortune for the week from your quest in the shrine. These are basically free lottery tickets that print additional loot. More loot is always good, at least I think it is. And finally, consumables. To make it extra easy, I've created the ultimate raid-ready checklist, the exact flasks, potions, food that you're going to need for your specific role. That link is in the description below. It's a simple cheat sheet to make sure you are fully prepared for the raid. So talking about the raid itself, there are tons of long guides out there, but I've cleared this raid 4 times in the beta, and so I've got the exact best thing you need to know for every single boss to avoid wasting time and wiping. For Stone Guard, you have to have 2 of the mobs tanked by 1 tank, 2 by the other tank, separate them across the hallway. The big thing is the one that's casting stays with the main tank, and you're swapping in and out the other Stone Guards based on their energy. Now, as the phase goes on, a lot of groups are going to start feeling pressure to do this brand new stack strat. It's extremely difficult with low DPS and uncoordinated healers. Would not recommend it the first week. As for Fang, it's all about your tanks managing the 2 buffs, the Nullification Barrier, the Shroud of Reversal. You got to chain heals and damage reduction from your raid as well. Now, if any phase is going to wipe you, it is the Arcane phase, and having a weak aura pack to alert you when Arcane Resonance goes out is extremely helpful. I'll link one below the video. Now, what about Garajal? You're gonna assign groups in advance to go into the spirit world. They kill the ads inside as fast as possible, or the raid gets overwhelmed. The tanks also are going to get walloped on this fight, so get ready for it. As for Spirit Kings, sort of a patchwork-style council fight. You have 1 king at a time. As you kill them, they gain the new abilities from the previous king. Basically, 90% of your energy should be trying to avoid getting crushed by a giant wall of guys. For Elegon, positioning is 99% of this. You want to have your range near the outer rim of the circle so they can reset their stacks easily. The second key, 2 tanks that understand how to bring the ads out at the very last second so that the ads die outside and the raid doesn't wipe. Also, having pre-assigned groups and flare markers, you can save so much time explaining that ad phase. Usually it takes like 30 minutes. On Will of the Emperor, this is purely ad control fight. You got your range picking up the Emperor's rage, the tanks are picking up the Emperor's strength, melee are hitting the Emperor's courage, and then in phase 2 you're going to split the raid, even more ad management, and the added difficulty of dodging the devastating arc and the stomp abilities. And that's it. The checklist is complete. You have the game plan, you know how to build your team, your character's powered up, and you've got the inside intel on the bosses. You're not just ready, you are prepared. So walk into Mogu'Shan Vaults this week with the confidence. Play smart, have fun, good luck in there, and go get that loot. And I'll see you in Pandaria.